What's up YouTube? I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games, and today we have another match which is our C.O.D deck versus Striker Brave, also with the DPE package. So definitely we have a going first deck against a very strong going second deck, and especially with Sky Strikers, they just love going second. Now, friendly reminder to definitely like and subscribe, and especially subscribe if you guys want to enter in amazing giveaways. So, starting first, we are actually going first in this duel. Now, let me tell you that trying to find matches was extremely hard, not because of we're not winning, more that a lot of our opponents kept on critting right away, and it was very hard to actually get a full match with our opponent just critting. So at least this time we have a few interactions and we could actually show you more combos and playing through interruptions, and also we can see how it's going first and going second, so it's quite well. So our opponent has Ghost Bell, Forbidden Droplet, Mystic Mine, Water Enchantress, and Foolish Burial. And we have also our own Foolish Burial with Omni, Cyframe Gear Gamma, Boot, which is never a good card to actually start with, and then we have our Naya. So we're going to try and bait out wherever hand drops our opponent has. So we're going to go with Naya first. So activating Naya, Foolish the Curse. Okay, our opponent is still not responding, so now we're using Foolish Burial, hoping that he might trigger something. Still nothing. Now we're going to use Night Sword Serpent, see what our opponent has. Still nothing. Now we're going to use Curse, because Tribute for cost, so we have nothing on the field. And they're going to chain Ghost Bell, which is going to let us chain Gamma. So now we're all set, so we could actually go off a bit, because at this point, if they did anything, it doesn't really matter at this point because they could Ash, Veiler, whatever, and we already have a small engine going, so there's a lot of plays that we could do right now, and we still didn't even normal summon on top of that. So after that, we're going to use Curse, supposed to summon the Naya to go and add the Strike, which is an amazing card. So we're going to activate Strike just in case if our opponent does have Veiler or Ash or something else. So we're going to use Chaos Ruler. So we're going to mill 5. Okay, and we're going to get the Kage to Kage because we still didn't normal summon. And there is still a lot of like places that we could do. We could even send it to the grave to supposed to summon Flogos with Strike. So we're going to overlay, supposed to summon the Zombie Vampire, use the effect. So we're going to mill 4. Our opponent is also going to mill 4. And we're going to go and supposed to summon the Cult. We're going to activate New to supposed to summon, overlay for King of the Pharaoh Imps to search a Zoar. So now we're just trying to deck thin as much as possible, get as much reptiles in a grave in hand before we actually start doing our bigger plays like Saruja. Now, some of you might wonder why didn't we use our Serpent Strike, and we're going to get to that in a moment. Because usually I do use Serpent Strike when I use our Zombie Vampire over here. But for this play, I decided not to because I kind of want to do a little chain blocking and see a little bit more of my options, how far the combo would get. So we're going to do King of the Pharaoh Imp. And we're going to just add the King just so we don't draw into it with Saruja. So we're going to go and make our Dark Charmer. And then we're going to use Dark Charmer to supposed to summon their Dasher. And now we're going to link everything for a Saruja. Now, since Dasher was sent to their graveyard, and it's during the main phase, we're going to do Saruja 1 and Striker Ogdoadic Strike 2. So we're going to send the Queen, and now we're going to draw. So this is why I like to hold on to Serpent Strike, is just for this specific play with Saruja. But most of the time I do it with Zombie Vampire, just an extra foolish. But for this, we did mostly just to deck them. So after that, we're going to go use Saruja, Spell Summon Omni, send the King, get her Levineer. Okay, and we still didn't use Striker, by the way. Striker Dragon, so we're going to go and use Quick Launch to get our Tracer out. And then we're going to link it to get back the boot that we put at the bottom of the deck. So now we get to add, and we're going to go and link for our Pitsy. Use Pitsy to get this striker from grave to the field, and we're going to link Pitsy and Saruja for Herodic Seal. So now we're going to use King, and this is where you're going to see where the misplay happens a little bit. It's not the end of the world, this misplay, but it still shows like importance. So what I should have done right now is use Darkest Diabolus effect to actually tribute himself, so our opponent picks one card in hand and put it at the top or the bottom of the deck. But we didn't do that. Instead, we just did the Levenier, banishing 3 Dark Soul. And the reason why you want to do Darkest Diabolus first is because your opponent is choosing the most likely the worst card that they want to put at the top or the bottom of the deck, and then that guarantees Levenier to actually hit the only good cards that they have. So, and it definitely shuffles the deck. So if they decide to put the card with Darkest Diabolus at the top of the deck for their next play, at least Levenier definitely changed that. So you always want to do Darkest Diabolus first and then Levenier after. Now this we did the opposite way. So now we're going to do it. And since Darkest Diabolus was supposed to summon with Seal, we could actually supposed to summon him with his effect when we tribute a monster. So we're going to go Foolish, supposed to summon Zora, and we're going to use Queen's effect. So we're going to tribute those two. We're going to do Zora 1, Darkest Diabolus 2. So Bolus gets supposed to summon, Zora gets her add, and we're going to send. And our opponent is going to draw and discard. So we're just waiting for him to do so. Okay, now this is a very big misplay that they send a monster. If he actually send the Foolish Burial instead, that would actually made us not extend so much. But now since he sent a monster, we could actually do a lot more plays. So we're going to do exactly that with Queen being Chainlink 1 and King being Chainlink 2. So we're going to discard a random card for our opponent's hand. So there we go. Okay, now we get to special summon. Okay, and we're going to link for a Omega and use Omega for the last card. Now we're going to definitely banish it and make more negates. So we're going to definitely have more interruptions, but he scooped. But it was pretty much the same outcome. So now for game 2, we're going to be going second. And our opponent has 2 Water Enchantress, a Nib, a Tactics, and a Griffin. And we have the White, the Queen, the Zora, the Strike, and the Water Lily. So we actually drew like the nuts when it comes with like extenders. But that's why like Nib is not really that good against this deck because it does not like this whole deck is pretty much just extenders, okay? And Nib does not stop extenders. And that is the whole like conflict with it and why we could still combo off even once we got Nim is because we have a lot more extenders that could even use the token that we're given. So it's better to side like stuff like Droll, even Lance would definitely hurt a bit as well. It restricts a lot of plays, but especially if you are having like a few interruptions already and then you have Lance with it, that is going to hurt a lot more. Tactics I would have actually taken out for it because against a heavy combo deck like this and 60 cards, the odds of even getting hand traps are very, very low in most 60 card decks. I think the only one you might be worried about is like Prankets that has 60 card, because at least them, they actually majority of the whole deck are actually hand traps, so that makes sense. But for any other deck that's playing 60 card, I would not even put triple tactics. Well, definitely Dimension Shifter. If he could play Dimension Shifter, that actually shuts the whole deck down. But definitely Droll and Lance is definitely good cards. Okay, so he's going to go first. So he's going to do the Water Enchantress. So get the rights. Activate the rights, get the token, then get the Faithful, Perfect. Okay, use Griffin now. Special. Yeah, he's not even waiting for a response. He's just doing his thing, and I'm just doing a thumbs up after. Okay, so now he's going to go and do the next ad and discard. Now, I understand that he didn't do the Draco back because he's planning on doing like the nib, so wherever, but I would still do it just in case. Like me personally, that's what I would actually do. Now we're gonna go. So one thing for sure is that we definitely have a lot of cards that can play through all the stuff. So we're going to activate our strike. Instant fusion, still no negates, that's fine. We're going to normal summon, and we're going to make a King of the Pharaoh Imp and use the effect. So then he could use his Griffin. There we go. We're not really scared of hand traps because of Serpent Strike, because we could just foolish something for free, and we have Water Lily as well, so that helps a lot. So we're going to go and banish our Dark Flame Dragon, Fire Dragon, and we're going to go and make Striker Dragon. So Striker is going to be chain link 2 and white is chain link 1 because it's more important that we actually add the black dragon than the boot sector launch. Because one of our main plays that we're going to need to do is going to be for Romulus to actually get the Dragon Ravine. Okay, so now special link Romulus, get the Dragon Ravine. Because we really want that queen to go in the graveyard. Okay, so Dragon Ravine, send that. Okay, adds, get a Rocket Tracer. There we go. Activate boot. And special summon the Tracer. And we are going to use Tracer to pop the boot. So we are locked into Dark Monsters for the extra deck, but that is completely fine. We have everything to be all set up, so we don't have to worry about any of that. He's going to nib us over here, which honestly, I would probably never nib at this point because it's really unlikely that they were actually, even against like Dragonlings, that they were make a Savage at this point, especially with only one negate, not really worth. But I would wait a little bit further, maybe trying to actually commit with the hand looping and chaining the nib afterwards. I think that would be much more promising than doing it right now. Because right now, yes, they wipe a board, but we still have a lot of plays, and we are going to do a lot of plays. So we're going to use Water Lily, and we're just going to Foolish the Curse since we don't have that many reptiles yet. We're going to use Curse to tribute the token. Special summon Curse. They're going to special summon the Water Enchantress. Then Curse is going to special summon Zoa. And we are going to use Zoa's effect. So we're going to actually add the new and then send it. They go and they draw into the Rose. And they're actually going to send the Rose, which is definitely a misplay. And they should have just sent probably Tactics. I would have actually sent Tactics, to be very honest. So, oh wait, no, it was the Water Enchantress he sent. Which honestly, I would definitely not do. I would not send the Water Enchantress actually. I would keep that in hand. Yeah, Tactics I think was the best play because now we could activate our Strike since the monster was sent to the graveyard. And we're going to send our Night Sword Serpent. So after that, Night Sword Serpent activates, and we're going to activate our new, and we're going to overlay again for King of the Pharaoh Imps, and we're going to use King of the Pharaoh Imps to add our Reptilian Cult. So Reptilian Cult is going to activate since we do control Dark Reptiles and special summon it, and we're going to synchro them for Chaos Ruler and use Chaos Ruler. So now we're going to get more cards in hand. So we're going to actually get our Naya because we have a few options. We could use Strike to spell summon the Overlord since we didn't use that effect of Strike. But also, if we needed more reptiles in the graveyard or send the king to the graveyard, we could actually use Naya's effect as well. So we have a lot of use for Naya right now. So we're going to go and overlay for a zombie. So zombie vampire is going to mill 4. We don't really have anything useful in our graveyard, but they do have Dasher. Man, Zombie Vampire really does not like Dasher. So now we're going to go and use Naya to send the King. So we're going to go and tribute both of them to spell summon. We're going to use Darkest Diabolus effect since the Dark Monster was tributed. And now we're going to use Chaos Ruler. So Chaos Ruler is going to banish special. And just in case, we are going to use the Chaos Space to return Levineer because maybe we could keep the Dasher and discard a Dark Monster in our hand if we draw into one. So we're going to go and draw, and it's a Gamma, so sadly. So we're going to go and use Strike now to send the Dasher to special summon the Overlord. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Overlord, quite simple. This is why I actually cite in Overlord, is because it's really good for game 2, but only in game 2. It's not really necessary for going first, but also you could win games without it for going second as well. So it's not too needed, but just for a different build for going second. Like usually I do actually take out Darkest Diabolus, but the fact that I saw that he did have Sky Striker, I kept it in because Darkest Diabolus cannot be targeted. So you could actually use it very well against Sky Strikers. But what Overlord does is it actually sends all monsters that was not special summoned from the graveyard. Now, all our monsters over here were all special summoned from the graveyard, and the only monster on your opponent's side of the field that was special summoned from the graveyard was Water Enchantress. So, what we're going to do is go to Battle Phase, because Overlord's effect is a quick effect. So we're going to enter into the battle phase, start battle phase, use Overlord. So that's going to get rid of the Nib, and we're going to be able to attack with King and then attack with the rest for 9,100. And that's it for our match. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you guys want to see more matches of the C.O.D deck, or maybe other matches as well, definitely like and subscribe, and even comment down below what other decks you would like to see me do matches with. And especially subscribe if you guys want to enter in our amazing giveaways. And if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to review here on the channel, you can follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.